Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is Nick from ForexForNoobs.com with the daily analysis. Sorry for the slightly late start, just had a small technical issue. I couldn't use this software that allows me to draw on my screen, so I had to restart. Okay, so let's dive right into it. In today's analysis session, we're going to be looking for price action setups across all these pairs. We're going to be discussing some of the setups that I shared yesterday and some of them that I shared earlier this week, although a lot of them did not trigger, so I've already taken them off the list. So yeah, let's just dive in. Kicking things off with AUDCAD, this one has hit target. So yeah, I mean, you should probably consider closing this one out, but it is showing some pretty decent momentum. So you might also want to leave it open. I'll leave it up to you to decide, but with this momentum, you could close out part of the position and leave the rest open. It is at a point where it did stall last time, which is this point here. And it is already showing signs of stalling. So it might stop here again. It's at a 2R target right now, so you might be best off closing it. But again, I'll leave this one up to you guys. It's going really well. Just you decide what you want to do with it. There are two options. Leaving it open, there's a lot of momentum, so it could very well continue to move down to the support area, which would give you a target of about 2.7, 2.8R. Otherwise, just close out part of the position and, well, there are three options. So close out part of the position, let it run down to there. Close out none of the position, let it run down to here. Or just close the trade out and be happy with the gain on this one. So up to you, those three decisions. Just depends on what type of trader you are. Right, USDCAD, we spotted this one yesterday, potential short from this resistance area. It hasn't really done anything since yesterday. I'm still waiting for it to start moving down, but yeah, it hasn't started to move down. Today's candle hasn't done anything really. It's barely moved. So it looks like we might just be seeing some sideways movement today. Now, of course, we do have 12 hours left on the day. So this could very well just go boom and shoot down throughout the next 12 hours. And we are coming into the busy sessions, so it could move in the next 12 hours. So I'm just going to be keeping a close eye on this one, guys, and we'll see how it plays out. DXY, very similar to USDCAD. This is the dollar index, so it is going to be similar to the dollar pairs. Stalling out on resistance. Let's see if it manages to stop and turn around. I know not everyone can trade DXY, but for those who can. USD, this one's pretty interesting. We have price dropping into support. So this is the support area. Price is dropping into support. And I'm looking for a long reversal. So this is the same as yesterday once again. But yeah, right now, it's, I guess on the 12 hour, maybe the 8 hour, there could be a trade forming here. Earlier than the daily. Yeah. I mean, on the 8 hour, we're getting some pretty solid indecision, so wait for the next 8 hour candle. I'm going to lean towards the daily on this one. We have just got a new low on the 8 hour, so I'm leaning towards the daily, waiting for the daily to see how this plays out. But that doesn't mean you have to do the same. You can look at this, you can trade this on the 8 hour, the 6 hour. Just to lower the time frame, the riskier the trade. AUDCHF, I'm just waiting for a push up from here, but it's not happening right now. Nothing much on GBPAUD, nothing much yet on New Zealand USD, but it is pushing down a little bit. Just want to see how this one plays out, but yeah, there's nothing there right now, nor is there EURUSD. Oops, I forgot to do the news. There's nothing really that important so far this week, but heading into today, we have the first kind of important news of the week. And that's the main refinancing rate and the monetary policy statement out of the EU. Then we have the ECB press conference a short while later, which could definitely cause a bit of a move on the euro. And after that, we have core durable goods, or during actually the press conference, we have core durable good orders out of the US. Friday, we have advanced GDP out of the US. So I'm not too worried about the advanced GDP and the core durable goods. They tend to have a minimal impact on the larger time frame charts. But the ones that I am worried about in terms of the impact they could possibly have is this here. Oh, and of course, this one was added recently. The new Prime Minister, Johnson, is going to speak today at 11:30 a.m. So that's in 22 minutes. So expect a possible bumpy ride for the pound. Because no doubt he's going to bring up Brexit, which might cause some craziness in the pound. So today is, for the pound and the euro, today is could be a bit of a roller coaster ride. Could be. Trade with care on the pound and the euro. And let's see what this speech brings in 20 minutes. Right. So again, we're looking for some new setups. Price shot up to resistance on GBPAUD yesterday. And right now it looks like it's stalling out potentially on resistance. This is still in a downtrend, still trending down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a short from this resistance area. Now we could be seeing a recovery in the pound, totally possible. But like I said, still in a downtrend, so I don't want to call it a recovery yet. So I'm looking for a potential short trade from here. This doesn't mean I'm going to enter short. It means if price stalls, I'm going to enter short. So right now, it doesn't really look like it's going to stall. It looks like it's attempting to break the high of yesterday. And if it does, it'll probably continue to push up. But if it sinks back down and settles in this resistance area and starts to stall, that would be a sign that I want to go in short here. So no, I'm not going to do anything with AUDJPY. I know I'm flicking through these files, but I'm just not seeing anything I like on these pairs, on AUDUSD, on CAD CHF, CAD JPY. Not really seeing anything I like, so I'm just flicking through them. Yeah, not really anything good going on most of these. New Zealand CHF, I'm not actually long there. That was just I believe that was from the forum. I was and I'm not short here. Again, I believe this was from the forum. Oh, Gil, I think you're here, right? I saw you say something earlier. So how'd you end up doing on this USD NOK trade? Because if I recall, you had your target a fair bit lower. I think you actually asked me something in that thread, but I didn't respond yesterday. I was meaning to respond today. I think you had your target down here or something. But I was, you didn't have this resistance area placed, the support area placed here. So I told you about the support area. Right, you're still in. Yeah, I think you missed the support area. When it hit the support area, it seems to have backed off from it. Yeah, got to it and it turned around. Yeah, just hold on to it. See if it has enough power to break through this support area. I can see why you wouldn't have this area, but I find a lot of traders, what they'll do, new traders especially, is they'll ignore support resistance areas because they're too close together. They'll say, oh, this one's too close, so I'm going to pretend it's not there. That's not really how support resistance works. If it's there, it's there. You can't just pretend it's not there. This one has arguably more significant bounces than the one you traded it from. So you traded this short from this area. But if we look at this area, what are the significant bounces? You got a small one there. You got one here. And you got a small one there. And I guess there's a wick bounce there. That's not much different to the bounce you have here. Small one there. Pretty big bounce here. Small wick bounce there. Small bounce there. Decent bounce there. Decent bounce there. So this is clearly a resistance area. Yeah, but you can't just immediately dismiss something because last time sellers were able to pass through. In that case, you should have dismissed this one because sellers and buyers passed through it right away. Here. Thinking you might be curve fitting a little bit. Fitting the resistance area to the trade and ignoring the ones that are inconvenient to your setup. Because price did cut through it here, your one, and then bounced from here. So just a lesson for everyone, guys. Don't ignore support resistance areas because they're inconvenient to your trade setup, or don't ignore them because they're too close together. I find a lot of people, like, for example, these two here, they'll say, ooh, these are close together. I'm just going to pick one of them. But that's not how support resistance works. It's not as if you ignore this one and magically it's gone. It's still there. It's still going to block the progress of your trade. Sometimes support resistance is close together. And what does that mean when it's close together? It means don't take the trade. Or if you take the trade, have a tighter target. You can't just pretend it's not there. I'm not sure if that's what you did in the end. I'm just saying it's a common thing I see, and it's a dangerous thing to do. Anyway, always apprehensive with trend lines. Seems to have broken above the trend line. But yeah, I'm just not a big fan of trend lines. Anyway, I'm not going to do anything with USDCAD. Right, so let's do a summary, guys. Would you consider GBPAUD? Where is GBPAUD? One sec, just let me sort out these charts. For some reason I don't have GBPAUD on my... Oh, I'm so blind. I wasn't looking for a pair that's marked. I was looking for a pair that's unmarked. So I wasn't even looking at this. Ugh. That was stupid. It was right in front of me the whole time. This current move, Rich, it doesn't really inspire much confidence in a short trade. It's just smashed through the previous two 8-hour highs, and it's attempting to break through the high of this candle. So basically, it's breaking through all of yesterday's highs. Long trade? No. A long trade here doesn't make sense to me. What's the logic behind entering a long trade here? It's counter trend. So your counter trend, there's a big speech coming from the new Prime Minister that this guy's been known to be unpredictable and say some crazy things sometimes. So you're going into a long trade, counter trend, against the trend, before a big speech from a prime minister that only came into power yesterday. So everyone's going to be listening to every word he says and dissecting it and taking trades based on it. All the big boy traders. I just don't really see it. And from a trade standpoint, I don't really see it making much sense. It's at resistance. Sure, it might clear resistance. It might make a new high here. But then what about this here? It's going to struggle with this area right away. I don't know if that's where your target is. But you're basically, you're selling, you're doing three major things wrong. You're selling at resistance. You're buying at resistance rather, which is a big no-no always. You don't buy at resistance. Price is at resistance. You're buying at resistance. You're trading before a major speech. You're trading against the trend, which you can do, but under special circumstances. It doesn't, I just don't think it makes sense. What you're talking about is a continuation. Price needs to actually break and pull back. Not, this isn't a break. This is still on resistance. It's not broken resistance. It's still on resistance. So price needs to break, push up above, and then come back. Second, a continuation needs to be in line with the trend. This is against the trend because the trend is still bearish. This trend is still very bearish. Now this trend could be over. The bearish trend could be over. Very possible that it could start moving up from here, but there's no confirmation. Whatever kind of metric you use to define a trend, there's absolutely no confirmation that we're seeing a bearish trend right now, a bullish trend right now. Unless maybe we go to like, gonna have to call these guys back. Unless we go to the monthly chart. but not even on the monthly chart. Oh, actually, my bad. On the monthly chart, you could maybe argue that it's trending up. But still, if you zoom out enough, even on the monthly chart, it's trending down. So yeah, I wouldn't enter. Just gonna leave it until I'm gonna leave GBP until after Johnson speaks. Because no doubt he's going to be talking about Brexit, and Brexit is going to cause massive moves in the pound. I mean, Brexit is the whole reason the pound is down where it is at the moment. Pre-Brexit, we were up here at 1.14. Post-Brexit, we dropped down and we've never really recovered. We got back close, I guess, in February 2018, but we've never really recovered. My point being, any discussion about Brexit is going to cause some moves. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you for attending. Unless there's any other questions, guys. So yeah, we got potential on GBPAUD, but I'm not going to trade that until post this speech. Potential on EURUSD, but I'm not going to trade that until all this news is over. USDCAD stalling out on resistance for a potential short. DXY stalling out on resistance for a potential short. It's very similar to the USDCAD setup. They generally tend to move. I mean, they're not 100% correlated, of course, but DXY is the dollar currency index, so it does have a bit of a correlation with dollar pairs. See what I mean? Like generally they just kind of do the same thing, but not exactly at all times. So I don't know what that would be classed in terms of the amount of correlation they have, but they do have some correlation. Anyway, so DXY and USDCAD, these are the ones I'm most interested in simply because they're not going to be affected as much by all of this news we're seeing today. So yeah, doesn't look like there's any other questions. I'm going to wrap this one up, guys. Thank you for attending, and I'll see you for Tuesday's analysis. But everyone else, all the members, I'll see you on the forum before then. Bye-bye.